Take a look at this example. Say Henry is a firm is want to sell a picture frame at that price RM24 ringgit per unit with that factory overheads and the selling overheads cost are fixed, okay, which is 60,000 ringgit and 12,000 ringgit respectively. Okay, the manufacturing cost is said to be RM $12 or 12 ringgit per unit, and the variable selling cost or variable cost per unit is say RM 3 ringgit. Okay, say now the company wants to know how many units need to be sold in order to prevent loss and earn profit of RM 19,000. Okay, so as we know, this all that the information you need to gather from that the statements. All right, so make sure every time you need to list down, all right, what of that the features, what of that the informations available, then you easily can do a analysis. So first, as we know that the fixed factory overhead cost is, or fixed cost is a 60,000. Okay, guys, remember sometimes the fixed cost would not give you straight away as a fixed cost. It's come up with some other terms, but you must identify it. What doesn't means that. Okay, so fixed cost, you must know the fixed cost. For example, this question, the fixed factory for overhead cost means it's a fixed cost. Okay, it's a 60,000, and fixed selling overhead cost, okay, is a selling cost. The fixed selling cost is about RM 12,000. And then the variable manufacturing cost is given as 12 ringgit. And the variable selling cost per unit is given as a 3 ringgit. And the selling price per unit is given as a 24 ringgit. Okay, these are all the information based on the problems. Okay, now move on. We're going to look at that each every one of it. First, we need to do that one by one. Okay, so now first of all, what all you need to do, you need to find out what is the break-even quantity. Okay, so how many units need to be sold in order to prevent loss? That means in order to prevent that the loss mean is a break-even. Okay, so as we know, the break-even quantity is a total fixed cost over selling price per unit minus total variable cost per unit. Okay, so just write that formula first. Okay, so as we know, the total fixed cost, all right, for the factory cost, overhead cost, as well as the fixed selling overhead cost, as we know that is a 60,000 and 12,000 ringgit, and it's all together is a 72,000 ringgit. Okay, so that is a total fixed cost. And then now we calculate the total variable cost, how much it is. So the total variable cost is the variable manufacturing cost per unit, and then variable selling cost per unit. And then we know that the total variable cost is 12 plus 33. Okay, we know that in the questions. So the total variable cost per unit and variable selling cost per unit is you need to add up this together, and we got is a 15. Okay, now you need to find the break-even quantity. Okay, so as we know, the break-even quantity is a total fixed cost. Okay, total fixed cost, and that a total selling price per unit minus with the total variable cost per unit. Okay, so we know that the total fixed cost, as we know from that the calculation above there, we know the 72,000. Okay, and then we know that the selling price per unit, we know the 24 ringgit. Okay, so selling price, we know the 24 ringgit. So, and then we know that the fixed cost, the total cost is about 15 ringgit. After we add up this variable manufacturing cost and the variable selling cost, we got that 15. So we just substitute here 15, and we simplify it. We got the break-even quantity, which is 8,000. Okay, now this is 8,000. That means, so in order to produce, okay, the 8,000 unit is just a safe, just nice, is a safe situation. where the company not meet any losses. Okay, all right. So this is the 8,000 is the break even quantities. Okay, now next. So you're going to determine how many units need to be sold in order to earn the profit of 19,000. Okay, now we're going to look for how much the company should carry out. Okay, the number of product you have to consider in order to earn the profit of 19,000. Okay, as we know the number of unit for specific profit. Okay, so this is the quantity, okay, of that for that the price. Okay, so the total fixed cost plus profit. Okay, the total fixed cost. Okay, so fixed cost plus the profit. Okay, so the selling price per unit minus the total variable cost per unit. So you know, right, just now you just look at all that. So selling price per unit minus the total variable cost per unit. So as we know, the 24 minus 15. So we add these two, the total fixed cost and then the profit, which is we need to gain from the trading. It's about 19,000. So the quantity of that, the products we need to produce is about 18,000 unit. Okay, so in order to produce, so profit of 19,000, so the company has to carry out, had to sell the product which is 18,000 so that he can earn that the 19,000. Okay, so they should be changed in the form of RM. Okay, so it has to be consistent, guys. Okay, all right, cool. So these are the example. Say we just going to express in the form of graph. Say this problem, you're going to illustrate in the form of the graphical forms. Okay, now as you can see, this is the unit revenue and the cost. All right, you already know that how much it is that. Okay, so the total revenue is equal to selling price per unit x number of units, and then the total cost is a variable cost per unit times number of units, okay, plus fixed cost. So we know that we reach, you know, the 8,000 is the break even, as I said earlier. So this is a break even, okay, break even quantities, okay. All right, so the revenue has to be 192, okay, 192,000, okay, as well as the cost as well. Now that the total revenue equal to total cost, which means you reach this point, so you can easily can express in that graph. So if you just transfer those information into the graphical forms, it will be look like this. Okay, so which means this point is a break-even point where the quantity is fixed, which is 8,000. Okay, 8,000. So this is your fixed cost. Okay, this is your total revenue, and this is your variable. Sorry, these are your total cost. Okay, so this is the break-even point where you earn that the thing. So in order to reach that the maximum 19,000 profit, so it has to go for 18,000 sales. So to reach that the profit. Okay, so I think it's a graph. It's not enough to just show that. All right. Okay, now we go to more into more real life application. Real life application in a different orientation. Okay. Okay. So profit contribution, usually it's given pi, as I said earlier, pi profit okay, or total revenue. I said earlier, right? Total revenue minus, we show you the formula just now, total revenue minus that variable cost. Okay, now the profit contribution is also, we can express P minus VC, variable cost, which is the total amount per unit of sale contributed to the fixed cost and the profit. Okay, and then the targeted volume, usually we express, okay, the target volume usually express fixed cost plus the profit over your price minus that variable cost. Okay, all right, the output of the which targeted total profit would be achieved. Oh, sorry. So, for example, we can see this following example, all right, as a guideline. Say if it is the whole price, the wholesale price for the per tree is say RM 8 ringgit. Okay, so say for example this tree, they're selling the whole price. I mean you get it from the not in that uh, shop, but it's in the wholesale. Okay, the way the trees are being sold. Okay, so they give you the price about 8 ringgit per tree. Okay, so the fixed cost is the given as a 30,000. Okay, the fixed price, the fixed cost is already given as a 30,000, and the variable cost per tree is given as a 5 ringgit. Okay, 5 ringgit. So these are the cost of a tree, the fixed cost, which is already like they set. All right, now in order to find that the quantity, the break even quantity, so the formula is a fixed cost over your price minus VC. Okay, so as we know that the whole price is 8 ringgit. Okay, and the variable cost price is a 5 ringgit. So these are pretty much give you that the profit. And then you need to know that the fixed cost, we know that 30,000. So 30,000 over your the price of the tree minus the variable cost, which is 5. So you may know what is that the minimum number of tree you need to sell in order to you just save your business.